Brother James Graham. I'm with the Academy of Divine Poetry and Urban Expression. And one of the things we do is we have people from the community that are doing things in the community to uplift the community and speak with them to let the community know what they're doing and how they can contact them for the information that they're sharing. Today, we have Brother Malik Ankhneter, a poet extraordinaire, and surprisingly, he has some more information for y'all that I just learned of, but it's some powerful information that the community needs to know with the times that we're going through at this moment. So I'm going to bring to you Brother Malik Ankhneter so he can talk to you, explain some of the things that he's doing and some of the things that we're going to be getting back to. I know it's been a long time since we saw you guys, but we're still on the scene. All right. I'll present to you Brother Malik Ankhneter.
All right, family, peace. Let me get in here with this camera so y'all can see me real good. You know, we got to do the social distance and all that good stuff. But and that because I want to speak to you, and we're doing this video outside so I can speak to you without a mask on, because I really want you to pick up and observe what I'm doing. So the first thing that the brother wanted me to talk about is our continued poetry project, which is I have a project or a piece that I've been doing for many years that many people know me for, which is called 122 Blues, right? And it chronicles my experiences and stuff like that through life. And it's funny because now when my spirit hit me, it said it's no longer 122 Blues, it's now 122 Victory, because the energy has changed, you know what I'm saying? The blues is gone, you know? And so it's going to be a project concerning the prison system, and we're going to, you know, we're still working on it. It's going to be a creative play and story. It's already pretty much laid out, but we're going to get into the acting part of it and the theatrical part of it more so. So that project's coming up. Look for it soon, and stay tuned. Don't let this COVID thing keep y'all from staying connected with us, because that's partly what it's designed to do. But I'm not going to go too deep into that, my conspiracies and all that, you know. So that's where I'm at with that.
So, Brother Malik Ankhneter, it was a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking on the phone, talking about the projects and the stuff that's going on in today's world. And you explained to me some of the things that you're doing to raise your health level. And when you explained to me, I was blown away, because I was like, I never knew that you were an herbalist.
Yeah.
So when you started explaining some of the powerful things that you were doing, I was like, listen, man, this stuff is got to go out, because I know what you're saying, and the way you were explaining it to me, it works. So what's going on in the world today? I know people need to hear this information. They could take it or leave it alone if they're seeking better health, but it has to go out. So tell me some more about you being an herbalist and having to raise your health, and the information that you have for others to raise their health.
Okay, so well, like you said, you know, most of us are multi-talented. Most of us have different areas, and one of the things that I actually have been interested in since I was a teenager, a young teenager, was herbalism, herbal alchemy, you know, dealing with different natural plants and stuff like that, and working with them and creating different elixirs and things like that to help, you know, people, to heal you and things of that nature. And it's funny because now, in this day and time, it's returned. That energy it's always been there throttling, but now it's like coming back full throttle into the open and saying, listen, it's time for that. And why is that? Well, we're dealing with a situation that called COVID, and it's really what I label as a biological storm. Okay, you're out here every day, and none of us can really see COVID unless maybe you have like a psychic gift or whatever, but COVID is pretty much invisible. And I think that if we could see it, most of us probably wouldn't come out of the house, because, you know, it's everywhere. And here's the thing about COVID. It's not going anywhere. And I think that's the important thing that we need to deal with and to be realistic about what's going on. And the thing is, people say, well, maybe it'll just go away. Listen, let's not deal with fairy tales here, man. Let's be realistic about what it is. It is now manifested into the third dimension, into the world, and we have to deal with it. It's not just going to magically go away. So what do we have to do? We have to begin to do the things to counteract it and deal with preventative measures, which is one of the main things about medicine or healing that I see as being truth and see that people need to understand. A lot of times when you have disease, right? Disease is a process of manifestation, which means that a lot of times before you're actually physically sick, you're already the entity or the sickness is already in your energy field. It's already there, and it's just slowly coming down to the point where it manifests physically. Preventive medicine is about, hey, let's catch this before it becomes a physical manifestation, because once something becomes a physical manifestation, it's just like the weed that takes root. It's much more difficult to pull the root out than if you would have caught it when it was small. So that's what preventive medicine is about. Now, as I was telling Brother James, I am a strong believer, and I mean this, I'm a strong believer that the Creator set nature up. Mother Nature and Father God set this up to where it's called a check and balance system. For every disease, there's a cure. It's just a case of finding the right combination of herbs and things like that to work with. Okay? I'm not opposed to drugs and surgery when the manifestation becomes so great that now your herbs and all that, you're having problems because it's already hard. It's like ice, It's like water changing to ice. Once it becomes that solid, and you got a limb, you got gangrene, for example, a limb's getting ready to come. Hey, man, you're gonna need some surgery. When you get the disease becomes so strong, then you need these strong antibiotics or whatever drugs that you have to take to really work against that and stop that manifestation. But if we would just follow the natural way more so, then we could deal with preventative measures, and a lot of the diseases wouldn't even get a chance to manifest, because that's the problem. We live very unnatural. We eat unnatural diets, and now, it's time for us to start getting back to that. I mean, if you really, really want to make it through this period, then you are going to have to begin to re-embrace Mother Nature and the ways, the proper ways. And the way you do that is through the herbs and the roots and, certain mushrooms and things of that nature, because that's what they're there for. But if you start dealing with that stuff now, before you get sick, there's a good chance that your body will be strong enough to fortify itself against these diseases, including COVID. Now, COVID is a strange animal, and I'm going to tell you straight up, it's man-made. I'm not going to hold my tongue about it. I'm not going to, bite my tongue. It's man-made. But just because it's man-made doesn't mean that Mother Nature ain't got something for it, okay? It's just a case of finding the right combinations and defending yourself.
Let me ask you this. There's a movie that almost shows that it's been playing for a while. It's a new movie out. I think it's called Songbird. And it's basically telling you that this idea of COVID, I think they're calling it COVID-23 in the movie.
Okay.
And it's been out, this ideal and this man-made project of pandemic has been out for a while.
Yeah.
So that movie is just coming out now, 2021. It takes like 2 years to get a movie produced and directed and all the other things that go along with it. So you see that it is a pandemic. So, people can take that for what they take it or leave it alone. But
right.
It's the proof is in the pudding if you actually research.
Absolutely.
And then they're giving you clues that, we this is what we have planned for a while to get the world to a certain situation a certain mindset of thinking. But as you continue on, you said that it's going to be here for a while. Now, do you think the COVID is to lack in our health, or to get us to just die. What do you think this pandemic is all about?
It's both. It's both, and
Is it a money grab? Like, with these pharmaceuticals, do you think it's a money grab? That's basically what I'm saying.
it's a Swiss Army knife. That's what it is. It's got multiple points. Unfortunately, when you deal with the people, I don't even know what to call them. You know what I'm saying? But these people in high and so-called high places, they want to play God.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. They want to play God, and so you have the agenda to reduce the population down. Okay. And they're not going to just come out and just start killing people, although they've started doing that too, because, it's been an assault on black people for God knows how long. Mm-hmm. But really, it's not just about black people. They really want to reduce the population down, period. Mm-hmm. And in order for them to do that without making it look like they're just straight up murderers, they put these diseases out, they cause wars, they do all kind of stuff because they're trying to reduce the population down. And really, I think they're trying to get it down to about 500 million, where the population now is almost 8 billion people. So if you do the math of reducing from 8 billion down to 500 million, you do the math of how many people are being planned to die. This also, it's a kickback definitely for the pharmaceutical companies, because they're going to make money off of it. They're going to make money off of this disease, and it's going to seem like what it is, but listen, man, I'm a person that have to tell you what it is. It's more incumbent upon me, meaning like I'm bound more to what the Most High says than what people want to hear, or what these false prophets is out here putting out. And what the Most High is saying is that, yes, it's everything I just said. It's a form of population control. It's a form of, it's going to benefit the pharmaceutical companies. And it is also a war of attrition to wear us down and get us to go into a submissive mind state and accept whatever these people are handing out. Okay? It's all of those. You know what I'm saying? And I have to tell you the truth about that. You know what I mean? And it's not a conspiracy, because conspiracy theory, should I say it's not a conspiracy theory, because a theory means there's no evidence. And if you do the research, you're going to find plenty of evidence that this is what's going on. So my job is, according to the will of the Most High, is to start putting this herbal information out.
Now, could you present one of the herbs that we'll start there where you can just start presenting some of the herbs, because the people need to know some of the things that can start helping them out, empowering their health, right, uplifting their health.
Right.
So start with some of the herbs that you want to. We're going to continue this and go through it for a couple of videos. So
right, absolutely.
Just give us a couple of the herbs that that you want to tell them that are priority to get them started, so they'll be able to start feeling better based on what COVID does to the body.
Okay. So and I just want to say before I go into it, yeah, we're not fear mongers. We're not here to present fear. We're here to present solutions, and that's the way you work and the way you handle this. And with that said, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna go and start talking about some of these herbs, right? So an herb that I think that a root that I think is important, one of the roots I think is very important that you should be able to get easy access to, is a root called burdock. I don't know if you can see that. It might be, yes, burdock root. Burdock root is not hard to get a hold of. If you like capsules, okay, but I don't really advocate capsules. I advocate getting the roots, getting the raw product and working with it. And if you can't, then get somebody that can. Okay? Now, burdock root is a known blood cleanser. And it's gonna help you keep drinking the tea, and it's gonna help you clear the blood out and get the toxins out. We're exposed to many toxins. We really should be doing this stuff anyway. But now that, like I said, he said COVID, I'm really going to stress, you getting your herbs. You know what I mean? Get your herbs, man. You start working with this stuff. It's not hard. The same way you go on YouTube and look up a bunch of gossip is the same way you can go on the internet and start looking up and finding out what these herbs do so that you can live. Because guess what? If you die or you sick, you ain't gonna be able to sit there and watch no gossip channel. So it's important that you spend some of your time and learn about some of these herbs. Burdock, I've been using this for quite a while. You know what I mean? A few years I've been working with burdock, and I can tell you I combined it with other herbs, but you know what I'm saying. But I can tell you this is one of the ones that's easy to get. Okay, go and get you some burdock root and start working with it with a tea. You know what I'm saying? You'll find out how much, you know, when you make a cup of tea, you'll find out how much you need to make you a cup of tea, and probably start drinking it on a daily basis, or you know, every other day, combined with other things. But burdock root is not hard to get, so that's one of the things that you want to get. BURDOCK root, burdock root, blood cleanser. Okay, so that's one of the roots another important thing that I don't really have an example of, but I want to tell you that's important is chlorophyll, real chlorophyll. Okay, chlorophyll in terms of its structure is the closest thing to human blood. Okay, and it's got that green. Okay, it's that green. Green is that healing energy. Okay, green is that that is the chemical in plants that make them green. That chemical it cleans you out. You need to get some. You need to start either juicing green, eating more greens. I suggest juicing. If you have a juicer, I suggest juicing green stuff, because getting it in there and getting that concentration in there is going to help you get rid of toxins. See, here's what we have to understand and why that's important. When toxins build up in your system, that sets you up for disease, because what happens is the liver becomes taxed. It starts to overwork. You know what I'm saying? It can't, and then the toxins back up in your system. The body don't have nowhere to store them, so it puts it in your cells. When this toxin starts storing in your cells, that's the manifestation of disease. There ain't no other way for me to put it to you. I got to tell you it straight like that. You know what I mean? So chlorophyll and burdock root, real burdock root. When I dealt with the fresh root, and I was boiling it, the water actually turned green. So I knew there was heavy chlorophyll in there, you know what I mean? Because it's all about getting your liver clean and detoxing those organs that detox the body. Because once they back up, you're in trouble. So for two things, I want just to reiterate, I said burdock root, blood cleanser, and chlorophyll, such as spirulina. I wish I would have brought some spirulina, but that's a dark bluish green powder that has a lot of chlorophyll in it. It also has a lot of amino acids in it, and a lot of other nutrients in it. So it's real good for you. It usually comes in a powder form. I don't have that with me right now, but that's another thing you can deal with. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's two things I've told you.
Okay. Now, the prioritizing is
the next, yeah.
The priority is to get basically get the chlorophyll first, or start with the root.
Both. Say
at the same time.
Both.
Those are the two priorities, just to start with. Just to get the blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say because they're simple to get, right. And a lot of people, you know what's green, you know what greens are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So get you a juicer or start eating a lot of greens. You know what I'm saying? I suggest, like I said, juicing is excellent because it goes right into your system. But yes, chlorophyll. And I'm gonna go into my second one, if you don't mind, right? The second class of herbs that is to me is paramount right now, and they're equally running right neck to neck in terms of importance, is the group of herbs and roots called adaptogen herbs and adaptogen roots, adaptogens. Mm-hmm. Highly important when it comes to this COVID. Adaptogen herbs are herbs that help the body deal with stress. And they modulate chemicals in your hormones and neurotransmitters in your body, such as cortisol. Mm-hmm. I don't know I'm going to tell you what cortisol is if you don't know what it is. Cortisol is the stress hormone. Whenever you become stressed, or you know what I mean, the cortisol shoots up, and the levels of cortisol shoot up in your body. And when they're too high for too long, they begin to damage the body. Okay, so adaptogen herbs, which have a tendency to grow in very not very good climates, meaning like they're not, they grow in poor soil. They might grow in high altitudes where there's not a lot of air, mm-hmm. and because of their ability to adapt, when you take them into your body, they transfer that energy and ability to you. Mm. Okay, so I'm gonna give you me get an example of an adaptogen herb. I have about 3 of them here, but I'm going, I guess, okay, I have a little sample here of a powdered root called Radiola rosea. This is an energizing adaptogen, and I have to say that because you have some adaptogens that are more calming, then you have ones that are more energizing. And I use this one a lot, and which means that you take it early in the day. Don't take it at night because you probably ain't gonna be to sleep good, you know, because you have energy. I have tremendous energy right now from taking these herbs. So this is an example of an adaptogen, Radiola rosea, and it's something that you really probably want to start looking into, you know, really taking it serious, because with the COVID puts a lot of stress on your body.
Let me ask you, does that go into a tea? How do you actually process that?
I do. When I actually, it's funny because I use it as a tea, right? I've been using it with my blend. I have a certain blend of herbs that I create. Okay, and when I make my teas and my pots and make my brews, basically. I put it directly into the water because actually it blends into the water real nice. Once you start boiling it, it blends real nice. You know what I mean? So you can get it in that way. The other night, I actually made capsules. You know, I had some. I have a capsule machine, and I actually made some capsules for somebody. But me personally, I prefer to put it in directly in the water and just let it brew. Let it brew. So that's an adaptogen herb.
Now, I see that jar there. What is that?
Okay, so
as I said, it looked like sea moss when I first saw it, but you said it definitely doesn't have the gel of the sea moss.
No,
so,
it's a liquid.
Break that down.
Okay, y'all. This is the tea that I've been brewing. Okay, it contains I believe 6 different herbs, 6 different herbs and roots, really roots, and along with the radiola powder. And I take my herbs and I get some cheesecloth, some hemp string, whatever, unbleached, because you don't want chemicals in what you're brewing. And I brew in a crock pot. And I make a little pouch. They probably call it a sachet. I just call it a giant tea bag. You know what I'm saying? And you just would take the herbs and put them in there, tie them up. You know what I mean? Make your little pouch, and you would put it in your. I prefer a crock pot, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because whenever you do herbal work, it's really best to do it in a non-metallic pot, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because believe it or not, you're actually dealing with electronics and exchange of electrons. When these herbs are brewing, believe it or not, there actually is an electron exchange going on. Now, you know, metal attracts energy and electrons, you know what I'm saying, or electrical energy. So it can draw some of the power out of your herbs. So you really want to work with ceramics if you can. And crock pots have a tendency. My crock pot is ceramic. I think most people's crock pot is ceramic. So, you know what I mean, that's how I brew it. So that's what I've been doing.
And now that can be drunk cold or hot.
It can be drunk cold or hot. I like mine's warm. I'll drink it either way. It don't matter to me. But
Depends on your what you want. Hot.
Yeah, you know, I prefer it hot, and I always keep the bag with it, the bag that you make with it. Why? Because you have raw herbs, you have the all raw roots and mushrooms and stuff like that in there, where you can keep reusing the bag 4 or 5 times. And actually, every time that you heat the tea up, leave the bag in there, because all it's going to do is keep getting more potent and stronger. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome. So we're going to continue this series of, because I know he has more to present to you.
Absolutely.
So, and we're going to continue this series. And I also want to show you guys something about what's going on today and how this pandemic has been played out and is playing out. I brought today, let me get over.
Yeah, go ahead.
I brought today a master book, right? What this book is called, can you see that? Temperature. The Measurement and Control in Science and Industry. This book is from the American Institute of Physics. So what it's dealing with is the most important part that I've been studying based on what's going on today is air temperature, right? Air temperature, that's one. And temperature and life, right? And temperature in biology. Why do you say that, Brother Graham? Because basically, when you go into these public locations like school or work now, they're taking your temperature every day. So what does that have to do with the COVID? Think about that. If your temperature is over 100, they're saying that the COVID, that's a symptom of COVID, right? So what we have to do is actually study the biology, the temperature in biology, right? We have to study this temperature in biology so we'll start to get a greater understanding of what the body does with herbs. That's why I wanted to present that. You have to understand temperature and biology also at this time, because like I said, this thing has been playing out. This is therapy. This is theory. So you have the ability to naturally debunk some of the theory that's in that book by doing your own reality and your own divine uplift. All right. So understand that what we're here for is to give you the communication of uplift from a harmonic and a divine aspect, right? And a natural way of looking at how the body works in nature. All right. So we've been put into a place, like my brother Malik says, what do you call it?
I call it biological storm.
A biological storm. And that's basically to uplift the temperature in us, right? So we have to know what things that we put in us to keep the temperature at the right level of health. All right. So I'm going to let him close us out. Once again, my name is Brother James Graham. We're with the Academy of Divine Poetry and Urban Expression. This is part 1 of the series of herbals that Brother Malik's going to be doing. He's going to come back for part 2 and keep it going. So here's Brother Malik. He's going to close us out.
Well, y'all, I don't have much more to say to you except we're here to help raise the frequency. That's who we are. That's the function that we actually perform in nature. We just extensions of God. That's all we are, and His power, right? Her power, the divine power. And stay tuned with us. We're here to help raise the frequency. This is another thing that I want you to understand before I close out about disease and about frequency. Every disease vibrates at a certain frequency, and disease, parasite, they all vibrate at very low frequencies. And we have to, there's a natural law that says higher in the universe, higher frequencies always override or trump lower frequencies. So with these natural herbs that Mother Nature provides for us, in the actual physical form and in the energetic form of the Father, combined together, these things help us to raise our frequency, not just the frequency of our body, but raise the frequency of our energy field to come greater than COVID, so it becomes that it can't touch you. You know what I'm saying? And I know some people will probably say, I really can't tell you how to think. I really can't tell you what to do. We can only provide alternatives to what you're being told. And I can tell you this. There's a guy in my neighborhood who got very sick with COVID and to the point where he had to go to the hospital. And you know, my spirit just said, listen, why don't you give him some of the herbs? And I was nervous about it because, you know, I didn't want to feel like, you know, I feel like a fool. But my spirit said, I didn't tell you to deal with fear. I ain't asked you to do nothing but get a man the herbs.
That's right.
And so I've been staying up with him, and he called me yesterday, and he said, listen, he said, this is the best I felt in 2 weeks, man. And it was a blessing for me to know that the work that I've been doing, and the work that I've been doing had bore fruit. You know, the Most High word didn't come back void. You know what I'm saying? The Most High told me to get that man them herbs, and I did. And his word didn't come back void. So, you know, this is what we're working with, man. We're working with higher energy, higher forces, man. And this is who we are. And we hoping that we can be a blessing to y'all out there that's ready for this. And I'm Brother Malik Ankhneter, or really Ankhneter. Okay? So y'all know. And, you know, we'll hope to see you again. Stay tuned, and hopefully we can be a blessing to you.
No doubt. We got
Ashe.
more for you. Ashe.